I have not personally planned any marathons. I have been part of those marathons where I kind of frequently went in and out of those rooms, especially when we were doing the NASA um, St. Jude's fundraiser that went on for the whole week, and then the whole, I think it was 7 hour long. So I had maybe few hours in and out of there. But I would love to hear how people plan marathons and long rooms. Thank you for this space, Katie, and as always, my pleasure.
The conference I was part of, the way they scheduled it was they had a room, they had maybe 6 sessions actually, or something like that. And what happened was they had a room for a session for about an hour, and then they took an hour break after that. And then they had the next session an hour later. So that's interesting that they had set it up that way. And then I think people liked that they were able to have like that big break in between because maybe I don't know for sure. Maybe they had somehow also created more of like a networking lounge in between some of those sessions to space it out and give the buffer. And then I could say also that because I was in charge of one of the session for the hour, it was just or an hour and a half, I have to say. Hi, Dr. Elizabeth. So it was just really jam-packed. Like, I think what happened was we got together at a pre-planning meeting and I was hosting it. So I set up the agenda for who is going to talk when. And it was almost like in 10-minute or 15-minute intervals of various speakers coming in, and I try to put maybe two people together at the same time so that they can have more of a back and forth with one another if their business or the theme that they're into have alignment, and then we just transitioned like that, and I was the person to as the host to transition between the speakers for that hour and a half during that conference or summit. And then after that it was the wrap, and then we did stay on longer for to offer space for Q&A from the audience. So I guess so then it was good to have like an entire hour of buffer between the sessions because oftentimes we things always just take longer than intended, and we're all trying to get better at this to understand how to wrap up on time. So and I am also learning. So that's all I have to share as far as like just a general broad sense of how I was involved in a conference slash summit, being a host and a person who planned the agenda. Oh, the next thing I want to say is definitely designate someone as the leader of and the timekeeper. Maybe it needs to be like a VP, a vice host, so that there can be clear distinctions for the roles, and the timekeeper is always helpful. So let me just stop there. Welcome, Lena and Lorna. We are just talking about long and short rooms. If you have a question, feel free to raise your hand and ask us the question or make a small contribution. We're here for another 5 minutes. So while we take the pause, Robert, you're welcome to jump in if you feel like it. Um, just as a recap, I think, or I feel like we are the short rooms, it's totally possible. And especially now, you can just do the short room and have it be 10, 15 minutes, have it captured so that the audience can come and replay it and just enjoy that bit of like clip or 15 minutes that you host. And I think if just being intentional about it and And then even people transitioning from one segment to another by opening up, closing down a room and opening up a new room, especially because sometimes maybe you just want to give a presentation for a period of time, but then maybe you pin the link for the next room that's like a Q&A for more of a sensitive or casual, informal back and forth with the audience. But let me stop there and welcome Lena if you want to make a contribution or a question about long and short rooms.
Hi, Katie. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to ask a question. Um, I came in late, as you saw, so you might have gone over this already. But when you say a short room, are you talking 15 minutes to a 30-minute room? And what does that look like for you? And that's basically my question. Um, because I am interested to know, and based on your experience, because I've seen you now in a lot of rooms, and you know, and you pop up a lot on my alerts. So I'm wondering, based on your experience with Clubhouse and being in rooms that may be short, what do you get out of them, and is there any advantage that you see as opposed to some of the longer rooms? Thank you, and I'm complete.
Yeah, the short rooms, it sounds to me like from our discussion today is it can vary from 5 minutes to maybe 30 minutes, I feel like would be what I am thinking of as a short room. And I feel like as the creator, the person who starts the room, it's a good opportunity for you. It could be potentially you are demoing something or you're giving a presentation and or you're just making a self-introduction. And so you can just open the room and maybe you just turn off the hand raising and then and you just talk about what you want or you maybe have arranged guests on the calendar post so then they all can pop in and you can talk about something quickly within that time frame. It's always nice to be able to tell people, oh, this is intended for however long so that they can get a sense of what how long the room is. And I think most people try to do that during the reset if possible, especially if there are new people popping in to listen and to check out what's happening. And so that's how I can see the benefit of the short room and so that it go you have the replay on, it's in your profile and people can just listen to get those tips and ideas for what it is that you want to present and then move on maybe get to know, get a sense of who you are, get to feel like your energy and your vibe. So that's what I'm talking about in a short room. Did I answer your whole question?
Yes, it does. And thank you so much for answering that. And there's just one other question I wanted to ask you again. You might have already gone at. Should you let people know ahead of time this is a short room so that their expectation will not be, that they're going to be there for a long?
I'm happy to jump on that one, Katie. To start with, hey Lena, nice to meet you. Um, so the the kinds of rooms that I've enjoyed that are short rooms are typically like mindfulness oriented rooms. So a mindfulness moment, or yeah, or check in, but often like a guided meditation. And they usually put the length of the room in brackets in the title, so the expectation is pretty clearly set, and you can kind of figure out if you're going into the room sort of when it started, and so you can imagine if you're coming in a little bit later than the start time how much is left in the room. And I've always found that to be helpful to be like, oh, they just started, so I can definitely come into this room, get something out of it, and then I'm done. Or if it's like 9 or 10 minutes in already, I'll be like, well, clearly it doesn't make sense for me to go in, so I missed that one. Oops, I'll set the little bell for the next one.